I cannot. I need help. I need help. I need help.
You are courting pain and death.
I need help.
You are courting pain and
Alright, Meteor build can definitely solo Uber Lilith. Thanks for watching, guys.
greetings.
Alright guys, what's up? It's xESPxFeDuke here. Today I'm going to be showcasing my Meteor build. I'm calling this one Conjuring Meteor for the fact that we're only using Conjuring skills and Meteor itself with a couple defensive skills here. I'm going to be showcasing Uber bosses. I would have loved to show you guys Malphus, but right now they're not letting me into the dungeon, so sadly all I can show you is Duriel and Uber Lilith for now. After that, I'll run through the build, go through the skill tree, Paragon board, and take it from there. Well, if I didn't mess that up, I might have been able to one-phase him. Well, he can be annoying sometimes, alright. Alright, there it is. Alright, so that's pretty much the build. As you can see, it pretty much melts everything. I got a video of Lilith, like I said. I'll be posting that. Killed her in about 2 minutes. So anyways, we'll kind of go through the build here. We're using Starfall Coronet. It's a mandatory must. I mean, I've tried the Harlequin Crest. I've tried other helmets. I mean, this is just number one. I mean, you 100% need it. With this being said, too, having this equipped, you basically always have mana. Like, so you don't have to worry about resource regen, mana cost reduction, nothing like that. Right here, we're using Disobedience. I pretty much was trying to get intelligence in all my gear. I have some fire damage now. I'm still really working on a perfect chest, gloves, and maybe an offhand. However, the stats that I've been looking for are going to be in the planner that I'm going to be posting with this video. So basically I would have intelligence, you know, fire damage, armor, and damage reduction against burning. Here we're using the conceded aspect. You know, again, need gloves, but I would pretty much have attack speed, crit chance, lucky hit, and intelligence. A, that's going to boost up my damage. B, that lucky hit's going to be very important here, and I'll show you why once we get to the skill tree and enchantments. We're using Tilbalt's Will for the 40 times increased damage when unstoppable. Isu's Heirloom we're using, you know, just for the extra crit hit chance, you know, and crit strike damage with some movement speed. Um, we're using Edge Masters here since we always have full mana at all times. Basically, you know, I would probably replace the Mastery skill damage with all stats and probably pretty much keep crit strike damage and damage to burning enemies. This amulet here, you can pretty much have this exact same amulet. You could switch damage reduction to armor, or you could, you know, switch for even more damage and put intelligence. I know my armor is a little low on this build, but there's really nothing to kind of stop me from destroying everything to need armor right now. I'm sure later on in the future, if they implement stuff, I'll adjust. But that being said, so basically the amulet, you know, you could switch damage reduction for whatever, but you need cooldown, +3 for mastery skills, and +3 devouring blaze for the extra whatever. We are also, oh sorry, excuse me here. We're using this, the Meteor aspect gives you 60 times increased crit strike damage, and it doubles it when you're healthy. And putting that in the amulet, it's a lot, man. I mean, doubling 60 times is 120 times. You know, it's almost like a grandfather for a sorcerer. Am I right? Talrasha's ring, you want, you know, 15 times again extra damage per, you know, element you're using. We're using all of them here with, you know, with our conjurations, and it also helps with the cooldown. The helmets here, it says you have a 6-second charge cooldown. Okay, now, so I had cooldown on the ring, cooldown here, cooldown on the offhand, and basically, sadly, the lowest you can get this charge cooldown is to 3.54. The reason why it says 8-1 right now is because I don't have the X-Falls ring equipped, and that gave me the extra cooldown I needed, and no matter what I did, it would not go lower than 3.54. But anyways, so I actually took off X-Falls. I was trying to damage over time. It was nice, you know, it was doing some burn damage, but it wasn't slamming as I'm slamming now. And when I put this aspect at 29% of your meteorites, and then, you know, adding more meteors to it, I mean, it does insane amount of damage. And, you know, we could add more crit strike damage, more vulnerable fire damage, and more damage, you know, to burning enemies, which, you know, helps our Paragon board. And then lastly here, we're using the Storm Swell. You get that 30 times increase, you know, to vulnerable when you have while you have a barrier. I did have that at the amulet, but basically having the fireball 60 times is way better than this. And I mean, as you can see, pretty much I feel like I can. I'm like 99.9% sure I can one phase Duriel here. But anyway, so you're also looking for intelligence, crit hit chance, lucky hit, and cooldown. Again, we do not need mana cost reduction, and we do not need resource regen because we are not using any mana. Alright, so let's go to the skill tree here. Alright, so the skill tree, pretty much, you know, self-explanatory. We have 1 points here, you know, just to get our board. And we're not using any core skills. We're getting devastation. We're getting the 9 times increased damage from the mastery skills when it's above 50 mana. And again, we have full mana at all times. We're only putting 5 points here. Put 5 points for the fact that I wanted to be engulfed in flames for longer. So I got it to 2.4. And that was, you know, enough to do Lilith. So I pretty much kept it there. Same thing, teleport, you know, cooldown. We're basically using ice blades here, you know, to lower these cooldowns so you can pretty much spam them so that way you always have a barrier at all times. Put a little bit in glass cannon. 1 point here for the conjurations. Ice blades is probably the most important. You get 20% of ice blades cooldown, you know, applies to your other skills. We have lightning spear, and the reason why we have 3 conjurations is because this mastery, you deal 3 times increased damage for each active one. So if I have, you know, 1 hydra, 1 spear, and guess what? Since I have ice blaze by enchantment, and it appears and another ice blaze appears from my skill bar, I mean, boom, It's like 12 times right there. Put 1 point here. Again, as we're using a cooldown, so if you use Ice Blades, this counts as a barrier too. So you actually get a barrier from using Ice Blades. You get a barrier from this. You get a barrier from that. It's pretty cool. And since this is refreshing the cooldowns, I mean, it's almost infinite barrier uptime. We have 11 out of 5. For Meteor, I've tried the cooldown, like I said, we're stuck at 3.81. We really don't need this immobilized one right now. We're kind of using our lucky hit chance to proc this one. So we're using the default 30 times or percent faster. We're doing an extra 9 times while you're healthy. And Devouring Blaze again, 42 times increased crit strike damage on top of that 60 times we get. So it's almost like having a grandfather for a Sork. And then if they're immobilized, which, with this right here, pretty much it's like, hey, you're going to do an extra 18 times damage. So with this, I was using Penitent Greaves, right? But I found out the construct actually has a stone that literally applies chill for you. So basically, you can keep any boots you want. If you wanted to use Flicker Step, if you wanted to, try maybe an ultimate or whatever. But either way, we're not doing that. We're getting this extra 9 times. And then lastly, right here, we're using Isu's Ferocity. Again, I tried the damage over time builds. It just wasn't as strong as this is. And so we're stacking all this multiplicative critical strike damage. So we have this 25 times, right? Then we have the 60 times, and it's doubled while we're healthy, so it's like 120 times. And then we also have the Devouring Blaze here. Depending if they're mobilized or not, they're just adding more. And it's just insane. Lastly here, I just want to show you guys the construct before we move to the Paragon board. And as I'm actually fighting here, I'm also getting +4 to all my skills every time this lightning procs. So it's giving me like 15 meteor plus, everything, all the other skills I have equipped. We're using 70 times crit strike damage for the construct. He's applying chill for us. We're getting the extra +4 skills. Of course, we're using adrenaline. Gives us another 20 times increased damage. We're going to put this duration in tactical support to pretty much reduce the cooldown, so it's almost uptime is all the time. And since we have low armor, I'm just adding a 10.5 times damage reduction for us. That being said, I'm trying to get this Genesis glyph, but again, Malphus is down right now. I might want to fit it into this side, but won't know until I'm able to do it. So lastly, let's get onto this Paragon board here. We're using 7 glyphs for this build. I wanted to stack as much multipliers as I could. We're gonna do Elementalist here. We're gaining, if not physical, we're getting some, resistances. Speaking of, real quick, my resistances here, and I'm using all skulls for armor. Again, my armor's low. You guys don't have to. You guys could put gems here, but I mean it's literally like 3.6%. And I don't have anything here, for the resistances except my Paragon board. So anyways. So we picked up some resistance with the Elementalist. Our next board was the Burning Instinct. And we're putting Flame Feeder in here. We're grabbing, this extra damage to burning enemies. We're grabbing extra damage reduction. More burning enemies, damage to elites. From here, we're going to actually move on to Frigid Fate. And we're going to be grabbing, Vulnerable. We're going to put our Destruction glyph here. We're going to grab some Cold Resistance, and we're going to kind of just move up from here. And again, we're getting that extra bonus, another +10%. We're getting another +10% for Cold. Same thing for here. Another 10% for Burning. Same thing, same thing. Moving on to this Searing Heat board. Again, we're grabbing more fire damage. Okay, we're using the Pyromaniac glyph. You only need, the lowest willpower. Ain't gonna help if you get it more or not. We're gonna move up here. We're grabbing more crit strike, more fire damage. We're grabbing here, which gives you more critical strike chance, and you deal increased direct damage. up to 30 times. So we have max with that, so we're doing more damage right there. More fire damage again. And it's the same thing, right? Next one we're doing is Enchantment Master over here. We're going to put Tactician. We're going to also use this for the rare nodes, which is going to give us more resistance here. And it's going to give us more non-physical here. It's going to pretty much stack that. We're going to move up. We're going to use the Conjuration board over here. We're going to put Torch, which is great. It's another multiplier for damage, you know. And we're going to grab a little bit more resistance. And we're also going to grab this just for the fact that our Conjuration skills, the cooldown's reduced, which means more Ice Blades for us. And then lastly, we're going to just use, you know, Ceaseless Conduit, and we're just going to put Exploit here. It's going to give us another 10 times damage when you're fighting that one target. It's going to build up. So we basically have 7 glyphs with all multipliers. We got like a 15 times, 10 times, 10 times, 10, 10, 12, 12. And that's pretty much it. It's the first time I ever did a build like this. I will tell you guys it's probably the best build. I've been playing Diablo since Diablo 4 since day 1 here, and it's been amazing. If you guys like the video, you guys like what you see, I'm gonna actually post a link of my D4 planner here, and subscribe and follow. I'm gonna be coming out with more builds here. I typically do different builds. You know, for everybody who's Ball Lightning, I was playing around with other stuff. I might do maybe a Bleed Barb this season coming up. I think I'm going to play with the Druid here, and I think I'm going to try a Penetrating Shot Rogue. Something different nobody's seen. But, yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope this works out for you guys, and I hope to catch you guys next time.